What is up, YouTube? Mox Opal here. We are actually taking a look at Vaporesso Gen S kit. Uh, Picked up a whole kit for a little over 100, something like that. Just going to take a look at it, kind of vape on it a little bit. See how good it actually is since people keep talking about it. And I got this in, looks like a... Kind of hard to get out the box. Nice presentation though. I mean, open it up, tanks up there like that. Yeah. Let's see. There we go. It's tealish yellow, kind of. Specifications on this thing though. It's got a new Axon chip, pulse mode, flavor and cloud chaser, vape longer, GT meshed coils. Your normal UPC. Their little saying, power just isn't enough. Vaporesso Gen S. On the back of the box, actually, I noticed, got inside of the package in the Gen S kit, you get the mod and NRGS tank, which is 8 milliliters. That ain't too bad. One GT mesh coil, which is 0.18 pre-installed. GT4 meshed coil, 0.15 in the box. Extra glass tube, 5mm, 4 O-rings, USB cable that I do not suggest charging your batteries with. If you have something you can take the batteries out of, do not use a cable. Just don't. It's actually what shorts your motto and your batteries. Do not charge your batteries with the Type-C charging cable at all. Use your manual card. Mod specifications, it is 93.5 millimeters tall by 53 by 27, 107 grams, output of 5 to 22 watts, resistance is 0.3 to 0.5 ohms. It's actually pretty nice. 218 650s, not included obviously, charging current 2.5, display of a 0.91 OLED screen, thread capacity is a 510, the tank is an 8 mil, dimensions 30 by 56 milliliter. GT mesh coil pre-installed. We already went over that. And then your normal little scratch and sniff little things. But this is everything that comes literally in this whole kit. Everything there. Which actually have multiple colors. I've seen like the 2 colors that are on this, there'll be like a green, there's a yellow, and then a green and yellow, there'll be a red, then red mixed even with the other colors, a black red. Oh man, there's like 15 different colors of this thing. Actually, it's pretty insane. So we're gonna get into the box. We already showed the mod. Pull the tank out. That's definitely a nice sized tank, 8 milliliter. The thing that I actually noticed about this tank and I thought it was cool is if you turned it right, like you're tightening it, it actually doesn't tighten it. Okay, it actually pops this top off, like the whole top. That's not how you fill it though. But it's like this little spacer that's on there, and you can get in there and kind of like look through the bore, I guess, and clean it better. I'm not sure why they did that. Usually it's like an RTA that is like that. I'm not too sure on that. So, because if you turn it left, it tightens that back down, but turning it left is what pops the top open so you can fill it. Then you got your normal O-ring that's right there. There's not one that's underneath under right here. And you know, like I've always said, the thing that sucks about these is you never get them to open far enough for that fill port to fill it either. So we're gonna take, oh, she's really pre-installed. So that actually might be connected up there to hold that tank in, because I can feel the resistance on that coil on that top piece. And that's your standard 810 thread on there, which is, that one's in there pretty tight actually. We're going to leave that in there. We're not going to take that off. Alright, so there we go. Got the bottom of that to kind of unscrew. Nice little chimney on there. Got an O-ring sitting here, O-ring sitting here. Inside of here we have pre-installed with tiny little writing. There we go. So it's got a nice little chimney on that in there. That holds that coil right in. I don't know how much I like that top piece moving as much as it does. So nice bubble glass, nice little chimney, nice bore on the mouthpiece. It's always pretty good actually for airflow. So yeah, I pulled my rubber piece up. I see it was on there pretty good. So the one that's installed is 0.18, 50 to 85 watts. Nice little honeycomb mesh on the inside. I don't know if you can see that. Focus is being kind of stupid. So it's a single coil on this one. The other one's a dual coil. It's basically the same thing, just dual coil. Just a tiny little thing. What the airflow is on one side is on the same side. Don't know if the airflow round robins though. But while we're looking at the other stuff, because this is brand new, I'm actually going to throw some juice on there, prime it up, kind of get it ready for hitting it. Put a little bit right in the middle a little. I'm going to slap that tank back on there, and that's just a, like I said, that's a single coil. That's not the dual coil. Like, yeah, see, tighten it up. I don't know how I feel about that top, because if you turn it to the right, like I said, it takes that top piece off. Fill it right by there. Like I said, that's always a pain in the butt, because you always gotta tilt it certain ways to fill her. And when you're actually filling a new tank with a brand new coil, and I tell this to people a lot, never fill it all the way. Give it about a quarter of the way. Just a little airflow spot there. Because a new coil, it's going to soak up quite a bit, so you don't want a bunch of spit back right off the top. We're going to throw this on the stand while looking at what's in the box and the mod. That way it can sit there and prime itself a little bit. Okay, so mod feels pretty comfortable in the hand. It is a rubber coating that's on the outside of this, but pretty nice design though, with all these like little, what do you want to call that, like a scale kind of pattern. There's a little notch right here that you actually pull. Two pretty strong magnets on the door that closes it. Like I said, a little notch on the bottom opens it up. 218/1650s. It talks about the Axon chip on there again. Wasn't trying to do that. Designed by the Vaporesso, made in China. Let's see, you got your positive and your negative. Shows, it indicates on each side. Could have been a little bit better. They could have put like that in white or silver, because a lot of people sit there and they'll just throw batteries in like, oh, not turning it on, so they'll sit there and keep turning them. That's actually what wears your batteries out too. You know, so pay attention. You know, not trying to dog on people. Pay attention to that. But on the door too, we also have, do not use inside this device batteries with broken skins. Please use high rate discharge batteries, 25 amp, for optimum performance. It gives you their website, their Instagram, caution warning, and then obviously the two big magnets that are also on there too. So it actually tells you the best batteries to even use with this, because 18650s, yes, you have like 2000s, 2500s, 3000s, 3500s. I've even seen 4000s too, which I don't know why you need that much power, but yeah, you can just, and then it's also got that little battery thing in there, which a lot of people end up cutting off. Sometimes it comes in handy, but with like this, I'd probably take it off, because that's a magnet door. You really don't need that, and it's a pretty good well actually to pop the batteries out. So inside the box, we're going to take the plastic thing off that was actually sitting in there. So you get an extra little tank that comes sitting inside this little hole here with the O-rings, and this was the 5 milliliter tank, so that actually has all of the O-rings, extra O-rings that you need for the whole tank, the bottom, the top, the juice port fill, the drip tip, everything. Looks like actually inside the other thing in there. Alright, that's probably going to be all like the warning cards and all that. Oh, like I said, USB charging cable. Do not charge your batteries with these. That's what actually messes your batteries up. These literally are mostly for updating firmware and software inside the computer on your mods, which, like, 9 times out of 10 there's not really any software or firmware updates anyways, unless your mods are really messing up, if there's kind of like almost say like a recall on stuff. But inside that is the other coil, the dual mesh coil. Let's see if they actually put it in there so we can see the wattage, which they didn't. I think the wattage on that one though is like 60 to 80, not 40 to 85. Let's see your instructions on laser counterfeit labeling. Well, I take it there's a bunch of people that actually have made doors for this then that are counterfeit. Your user guide, which has a whole big kit with even more stuff inside of it. Oh, your fire button, your drip tip, your tank, system off, 3 fire locks it, 3 fire unlocks it, pressing continuously on mode to unlock the mode. When installing a tank, it will automatically identify the coil. Choose your mode of pulse mode, power ECO, smart TC, DIY mode, which is do-it-yourself, system settings. So pulse mode will boost the flavor and cloudage. So power eco mode will let you have longer battery life. Smart mode will temperature control it and automatically recognize the coil material. And it's basically almost like the Drag 3, how it's got a smart chip inside of it, so it's going to recognize everything that you put inside of it. So that's actually pretty nice. System setting, puff counter, brightness, flip the screen, default version, just your normal basic stuff then for that. Let's see, X-Ross was the other card in here. Vaporesso new arrival, X-Ross, airflow control, and it looks like a pod system that they have with a little QR code on that. Not really a fan of pods much, but and let's see, you got a little signature card, warranty claim procedure, just your normal on that. Another QR code for the door panels again. I don't know, it looks like a lot of people then are counterfeiting the doors on there. That would be kind of weird, honestly. Alright, so we're going to stick the batteries in here. Let's see. So this side's plus, that side's negative. So what you do is you take that strap and you kind of lay it in there, slap one battery in, which actually these little prongs in here push up. So when you're putting it in, you're going to go from the bottom, pushing up on in. Kind of put that across there just like that. Oh, automatically turns on, which looks like it's on pulse mode that it starts with. Screen's actually pretty nice looking on that. I wouldn't mind it flipped. I mean, per se, if I could flip it the other way, because I usually use my right hand to vape. Like I said, that actually feels pretty good in the hand too. Some identification on these buttons would have been nice too. I mean, for an up, down, or whatever the mode, maybe. Okay, so this one goes up. So middle one, if you hold it down, looks like it changes. Okay, I see. Okay, so top one changes the wattage. Bottom one also changes the wattage. So it goes top, wattage up, bottom, wattage down. Middle button, you press it and that's literally let's see, 3 pressing, which is your mode, which will go into like pulse mode, your exit, your system settings, DIY, smart TC, power mode, So system settings, puff counter, to change that. You can reset it to the default version, check your version that it is, auto econ off, flip your screen. Let's see what it looks like by flipping the screen. So yeah, it flips it up and down. That's actually nice. That's how I wanted that. Okay, so we're going to exit out of that one. That's all that's inside of that one. Because we can't reset the puff counter yet. So DIY mode. So that'll set your voltage, your coil. So you can, like some of the other smart ones, you can kind of set your other ones, like you got your bypass mode in here, your voltage, your wattage, all that stuff, the normal stuff that you should know about. Smart TC, which Smart TC is for your temperature control. We really don't do Smart TC too much. Power Eco, Pulse mode. I'm actually going to leave it on Pulse mode. So what you do is you tap on this 3 times and you can go through the settings on here. So you got, your pulse, your system settings, your DIY, your TC, all of that. So it's actually pretty easy to go by. I don't know why it says 9.99 ohms. Probably because I don't have the coil in there yet. That should be done actually, kind of like saturating itself, so we can get that on there and see what it says on there. So then it'll pop up with that smart chip, new load and old load. So, and it scans, like it legitly scans the coil. So 0.21 it says. So it did read the coil, but it didn't set its set the wattage like it said it was going to. So we're going to go ahead and put that up to 50 watts at the minimum for that coil, like it says then, which it does that 0.1 increment thing. Like, who even goes up by 0.1 increment anyways? It's kind of annoying. And see, this is actually a 0.18 coil, so why it's 0.21 on there, I don't understand that. So let's actually take that back off and then put it back on, see if we can't get it to scan it again. Maybe we pressed the wrong button for the up and down for scanning the coil for new load and old load since we flipped the screen. So scanning again, and see this time now it's just 0.2. So it actually might be a 0.2 coil. 100%. Alright, so this is on pulse mode. 0.2 ohms, 50 watts. Not bad flavor on that coil or airflow. The airflow kind of noisy. Not too bad though. So halfway. It's got quite a bit of a whistle to it. So quarter of the way. Yeah, she really gets to whistling. I like mine restricted a little bit, which has a little whistle. I mean, that'll annoy me a little bit, not too much. So let's kind of put it up in wattage a little bit more. It says it can go up to 80 watts. So let's see if we can't do it at 80 watts then. Still on pulse mode. Still 80 watts. Didn't dry out, get too hot. Any of that. So the airflow does not round robin, so like it just turns. So let's check the wattage. Does the wattage round robin at all? A lot of people usually want it to round robin. Does not round robin, so it just counts down. counts up. So you have to sit there and play with that annoyingness. So let's change the mode on that, because pulse mode was for that. Let's see, so power eco. I can feel it kind of dumbs down the battery a little bit for power saving mode. You can feel it in your hit. So that's eco mode. Let's see, smart TC, which smart TC, it scans it and then put it to pulse mode for that coil. So like the smart chip's not going to let you. Okay, so if you use smart TC, what it does is actually scans your coil and puts it at the preferred settings that you would actually need, so it doesn't mess the coil up. That's actually pretty nice. And then your DIY mode, like I said, you can DIY it with bypass voltage, voltage watts, turn it off if you want right there. I'll probably keep her probably about 75 watts, because at 80 watts it did get a little hot, not too hot. Airflow on it's pretty nice. Flavor on that coil is really good. The mod itself, really comfortable on the hand, not too heavy. When everything's in the box, it's quite heavy. The box actually has some weight to it. The tank, for being 8 milliliters, actually is pretty heavy on the top, so it's not too bad. But it's something that I would actually throw in my pocket and take on the go if I needed to. And the convenience of the magnetic doors too, and there's no play on the door. Like, it's not going anywhere. Even if you slap it in your pocket, it's not going to move at all. This is actually a pretty well built thing. Then this is the Vaporesso Gen S kit, which, as far as I know, you can go with the Vaporesso just Gen, which is like the first one. Just solid colors for the first gen, which still had the same kind of doors, just a smaller tank. It had the 5 milliliter instead of the 8, which you can buy the tank separately, but why do that when you can buy this kit? So you can interchange everything from the first gen to the Gen S, as far as I know. Colors on this thing is amazing. Airflow actually is pretty good. Flavor on the coil is actually pretty good. Drip tip I might change off, because that one's, it's decent. But I like changing them. Like, I don't know, I'll probably put a tighter restricted like airflow one on there. Fire button, nice and clicky. I notice when you hit it, like, it takes like a millisecond to ramp up. Not too bad. The buttons are nice. Like I said, middle button pops that up, and then, or you can just hold it down and it'll pop up your menu. You can press your back and forth. So, pretty nice little screen. Got your airflow vents even on, you know, this is the heating safety thing on here. So, altogether, out of my ratings that I've been doing, out of 10, for being a sub-ohm, especially going up to 220 watts. I don't know why companies keep doing that and then making just coils that are like 60 to 80 watts. Why make a mod that's 200 watts unless you're going to make a coil specifically for one of the tanks that can go up to 200 watts and handle it. Ooh, excuse me, and also not like burn somebody's throat out too. So for the Vaporesso Gen S kit, in a package kind of thing, I'm going to say I'm going to give this probably about a 9. 9 out of 10. Like, this is actually pretty amazing. The flavor on this, that's actually pretty good, especially in pulse mode. You know, as you heard, I was testing the airflow on that, like, good airflow. Good cloudage and flavor. So if you're a sub-ohm person, you don't really want to do all the building and stuff, and you want a really good sub-ohm, and you want like the fancy doors, kind of like what all the squonks do for the RDAs, all that type of stuff, I would definitely go with this. I would buy this again. Honestly, this actually, as far as nice as this is, I'll give it a 9.5. This is a nice actually mod, nice kit, nice tank. It's not burning through the juice either. This is all around actually pretty well built, pretty well. This is nice. I think we're actually gonna fill it up all the way and see if it actually has any of that spitback protection that a lot of these other like tanks claim to have. We're not gonna fill it like all the way, but we're gonna put it at like that top ring right here. Yeah, because a lot of companies are like, oh, yeah, we got that spitback protection. Well, we're gonna see. No spitback at all. I'm still trying to figure out this piece up top though, because like I said, if you turn it right, it unscrews this top. And I didn't see nothing in the settings of that, unless for the other tanks you can interchange these to like customize your tank into something else. Because I noticed it's got a couple of notches up here. Oh, I see what that's probably for. That's probably actually to get in there and take your rubber O-ring thing off for your fill port. That way you can get in there and clean that, change all them rubber rings, because there's a rubber ring literally right inside the well right there too, which I noticed was inside the package. Definitely could have made that a different way, because when you go to put it back on, turning it left like that, once you actually get it tightened is actually when it opens the fill port. So I would have made like a locking mechanism on there. So like once that's closed like this, like it locks. That way it doesn't keep opening. That'll be about the only thing that's going to be the reason why I give you a 9.5, is just because of that lid right there. Other than that, this whole thing all the way around is actually a pretty good thing. I mean, but if you ask anybody else, especially like Jay Hayes on his channel, everything kind of sucks. Just saying. I know you got to criticize everything, and you got to be picky. I know you do. I'm not taking a shot at Jay Hayes. It just seems like he just doesn't like anything. But he knows his shit, though, too. So, I mean, definitely check out Grim Green. Check out Rip Trippers on YouTube. And check out, like, Jay Hayes or Mike Vapes. Them YouTubers. Really good YouTubers. But, as far as this goes, 9.5 all the way around. Color is actually pretty cool. Weight's pretty cool. Flavor's pretty good. Coil's pretty good. So if you're a sub-ohmer, most definitely go out and get the Vaporesso Gen S kit, or even the Vaporesso Gen. It's the same exact thing, just different tank. Box Opal out.